Matt, welcome to the Retail Whore Podcast.
Hey, Michelle. So happy to be here.
So we have Matt, who owns Fine Lines, who is our sponsor. And I've known Matthew forever and a day. He's been in the industry forever. And this is my chance to put him in the hot seat and ask all kinds of questions. Because honestly, there's so much about you that I don't know. And there's so much now that is changing for you and Fine Lines. So I'm super excited to get kind of caught up with this. But first, I'm going to ask you a question that I haven't asked in a long time is, what was your first job and how old were you?
Oh my God. Let's see. I'm trying to remember. So my dad owned a couple of properties in central Pennsylvania when I was little. And he hired me to be the gardener at like 11. And my name is Matthew Katzenson. And so he created this company called Matt Cat Co. And I was the gardener for these properties that were just across the river in, I think, Palmyra or something in central Pennsylvania. So I would just go on the weekend and cut the grass and do little stuff take care, trim some bushes and whatever. And I think that was my first job. And my dad used me as a write-off. He never paid me, but whatever. You know what I mean? I think my room and board was the payment or whatever. So that was my first job.
And
so I actually had a company at 11. So I don't even remember that. But that's
you should have kept the name. I like the name.
Matt Cat Co.
Ironically, your partner is a landscape artist.
Yeah. Well, he's a horticulturalist and kind of a landscaping, genius and an interior designer and incredible. Yeah, my husband, actually, Antonio. Yeah.
I love it. So I want to dig down and kind of find out how you started. I know I've known Fine Lines since, I've been coming to the Mart forever, and you now have 3 locations for the moment. You will be closing the Los Angeles location, I believe, in November. But tell me how Fine Lines, how it started.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're 33 years old. Started it in June 1st of 1989 was when we started. I was 26. I didn't know anything. So I used to own a clothing manufacturing company when I was younger, in my early 20s. Again, didn't know anything, didn't know what I was doing.
Wow, my brother and I did?
Yeah. My brother and I were importing these walking shorts that were worn by the British during the Indian campaign in World War II. And so remember when Banana just started and there was Jeeps coming out of the floor and lions roaring when you walked into a Banana Republic, because Banana Republic was really all these surplus goods that they were buying all over the world. So somehow my brother connected with this guy who had a warehouse full of these shorts in London or the UK somewhere. And we started bringing them in and selling them on Canal Street in New York City, on the weekends. And we just wanted to sell enough to be able to go buy sushi and have dinner at night. It was crazy. Rob, my brother, moved to Santa Barbara, California. And then I subsequently moved there, and we started this company called Running Wolf. And we had this men's walking short and a t-shirt that with a logo on it. And we were selling them up and down the UC system in the quads during Wednesdays or whatever. And my brother was a terrible businessman. And I was like, dude, you need to get out of this. So I bought him out of it and I took it over. And then I just started selling, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. This is a really funny story. So, you're a kid, you don't know anything. Right? So whatever. So I was going to New York, and I brought my clothes with me, and somebody's like, oh, you should get an appointment with Barney's men's sportswear buyer. And I was like, okay. And so I literally had one pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and I got the appointment. And this is when buyers had their buying offices on the floor of their department, if you remember the old days. And I went in and I showed him my t-shirt and my shorts. And he was like, honey, okay, let's go out on the floor. And he takes me out onto the floor, and he's like, okay, this is a pair of pants. You need a shirt to match it, okay? And you need this thing, and you got to create a line, and you've got to have continuity and colors and variety so that the retailer can tell a story at retail. And I was like, okay. So I go back to Santa Barbara and I meet with my pattern maker and I'm like, oh, we need to do this thing called a line. And she's like, okay. So before I knew it, I had a 30-piece line and I was selling it across the country and doing like Magic and all these places. You know, who knew what I was doing? I didn't know what I was doing. But I had friends who were artists and designers who, you know, were creating cool things. Like Lisa from Array had just started her business and we got our first jobs together out of college in like 1985, working for an architectural design firm. So I was selling her stuff and I had these cool belts and then I had like wallets and they would help to finance my trips. And I'd go to like, you know, New York or Philly and Urban and like these cool stores like Dot Zero was this killer store in New York that I was selling to. Anyway, I was dating this woman who was a small business consultant at the time. So I hadn't come out yet. And I was like, Deb, what am I doing? Yeah, I know it's a lot, right? So I'm like, you know, Deb, what am I doing? Like, I'm working 100 hours a week. I'm making no money. This is just insane. She's like, honey, you're a really good salesman, but you're really not good at production and you should get out of production and you should just sell. And I said, okay, I can do that. So got rid of Running Wolf and I took a job as a sales rep in the gift industry, answered an ad in the newspaper when you did that. And I got a job as a rep in LA, in Santa Barbara. Moved to LA, took a transfer a couple of months later. And then about a year and a half later, I was like, oh, I could do this. Like I can start a sales agency. And so I literally started it with my original business partner, Lance Hanshaw, on June 1st, 1989, with one line.
Wow.
And ate peanut butter and jelly for like 5 years.
What was it? Was it always in the LA Mart?
No, we started out on the road. And then there's this guy, John Wagland, who used to run the California Gift Show, very smart guy. And he was really about giving young, emerging brands or companies or agencies a shot. So he was doing the fall market at the LA Convention Center. And he came to Lance and I, and he was like, guys, if you take a booth here, I'll put you on the main floor for summer market, you know? So we did this spring market with like, you know, figured out how to do a booth and was successful. And then we, you know, kind of got to the main floor. So we were at the California Gift Show when the California Gift Show was a thing. Like it was the market on the West Coast.
I remember that.
You know, every hall was filled in the Las Vegas Convention Center, the North Hall, the South Hall, Kensho Hall downstairs. You know, you had such a variety of products.
It's so funny because those days, you know, I talk about in the podcast with a lot of people that have been in the industry forever. And that year, those years, the 90s, 80s, late 80s, 90s, it was so filled with excess and the economy was like booming and like the stack it high, watch it fly phrase was like, so like, that was what it was like. And I do remember doing, I don't know if I did the show in the 90s with Michael Campbell from Fred Segal Finery. So you know, that, or Fred Segal Access at that point. And so I do remember like the convention center where it was like packed. And you're right. Every single hall was full and Kentia Hall. And it's like, it's so crazy to me to think about like that day.
Well, it was a national market. You know what I mean? We had people from all over the country that would shop it. You know, my whole like philosophy is the buyers need to go where they can get good work done, right? Where they can utilize their time efficiently and effectively. And that was such a diverse market. So many different types of retailers were coming and sourcing product. It was really the heyday for LA. And, you know, everything changed with the Rodney King riots. And then as LA started to kind of get a bad reputation nationally, then we had that big Northridge earthquake. Like those two cataclysmic events changed the dynamics of the California Gift Show and of people's desire to come to LA. It was very sad, but very true.
I didn't realize that was the demise of the whole thing. I mean,
it was the beginning of it. And then the market started to get fractured a little bit. You had different big companies come in. Somebody bought the California Market Center. They wanted to, you know, kind of pull from the LA Mart. CMA moved out of the LA Mart, went to the California Market Center. There were like all of these things that were changing at the same time. So the market just, and the perception of Los Angeles as a cool, safe, fun place to go and shop changed. And so, anyway, but we were at the California Gift Show for many years, but opened up a showroom. I probably think like in 1992, we opened up a small 850 square foot showroom in the LA Mart. And John Wagland had moved from the California Gift Show to becoming the president of the LA Mart. And he was very instrumental in giving us the opportunity to come to the Mart and establish ourselves at the LA Mart, which was a game changer for us. Once the permanent showroom piece started happening, we were able to grow and expand and develop in a different way.
What floor was your first showroom on?
On the 4th floor. So one of our showrooms originally that we're still in right now was our original showroom. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's like, I think about, because, not a lot of people know, because it goes back so far, but how I used to do the displays for the Mart in the lobby. Like this is like in LA was 100% full, from 10th floor all the way down before, the child services moved in and everything. Like, and I remember doing, like, we did the lobby displays, we did every elevator bay display, and it was like, it was like so over the top. I still have like pictures of that will come up every now and then in my memories. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so crazy. And it's like, I think about like how full that Mart was. And it's so sad to me now. It's like, it's bizarre. Like it's because I've lived through seeing it as you have, from very, very full to very, very small now.
Well, Michelle, I think things change, right? Life changes, we evolve, we move forward, we approach our, personal and professional lives as we get older and figure out how we want to work and what we want to do. And as, I look at the LA Mart as such a foundational part of our company and of Fine Lines, but I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about how things are changing and moving. And I've been in this game a long time, and I think that one of the things that is most exciting about business is the challenges that you face as you have to figure out like how to do things a little differently or make adjustments that are based on personal decisions or family or life. I'm 59 years old, so how I want to work, where I want to work, how I want to put my energy and my brain trust into what I do, it's shifting and continuing to evolve and expand, which is my big word for 2022 is expansion. And that's spiritually and physically and emotionally. And this is all steps in that direction. And that feels very exciting for me.
I've watched you grow and, all the way around, as well as like watching your life through Instagram. And like, you have such a full, you don't post as often as I'd like to see, but you have such a full life now. Right now you're in Mexico. I just saw you in Las Vegas. Like, you have a beautiful home in Oregon. Like, you're living life now. And it's nice to see, because I remember seeing you in the showroom all the time. And it's nice that you are, you're having a purposeful life now.
Well, thank you. I think that I've worked really hard to get to this place, right? I've taken the last 10, 12 years to build teams and to create opportunity for my staff and my independent sales reps and my vendor partners to be able to empower them to do their jobs and to do them the way that they want to do their work. And for me, it's about balancing my life. I've worked hard all my life, and I certainly love work, but I don't want work to drive me or my future with my husband and my family and, my friends. I want to enjoy life in a 360-degree space. And that's very exciting to me, and putting the energy in the right places to allow for that to manifest itself is really important. And it's not as hard as it sounds. Everybody's like so deep in their work. They're driven by their work is all consuming. And I get that. I've been in that space, but now I'm just looking at the world and my place in it in a different way.
So talk to me a little bit about, you had LA that expanded into, how many square feet was LA at its biggest?
I don't know, like 12,000, 15,000 square feet, something like that. I don't know.
And then you opened Seattle.
Yeah, I'll give you you want a little history, kind of like you want the chronology of it. So we opened in LA and we incrementally grew LA. About 12 years ago, I bought out my business partner, Lance Hanshaw, who was instrumental in developing Fine Lines and creating construct for where we are today. and then kind of took the business in a couple of different directions. I think I was more interested in growing the company, and Lance really liked where we were, and we were just kind of in different places in our life. And so once I bought Lance out, things really began to change. We opened San Francisco many years ago and then closed it because we weren't ready for it. Then we moved into the Rockies, which stabilized and established itself. We went back into Northern California. And I don't remember like what came first, but I bought Jenny Hammond's company. Jenny was like one of the founding women rep agency principals who started her company in the 70s. Her and I were friends and colleagues. We worked on Gift for Life together, which is the industry charity that raises money for a couple of different really important causes in the world. And she was getting a little older, and I came to her and I said, listen, whenever you're ready to sell or retire or I'd love for you to talk to me first. She did that. A couple of years later, we started conversation, and I bought her company about 7-8 years ago, which expanded us into the Pacific Northwest and another division in Northern California. So, kind of that's how incrementally it grew, LA, then we opened Vegas, and then we took over Seattle and had a showroom in Seattle. So we covered the 13 Western states, and sell cool stuff to cool retailers. So, yeah.
And then you started Egg, which I personally adore.
Yeah, well, it's very interesting. I mean, Mara Tracy is my director of marketing, and you and Mara are great friends and colleagues and supporters of each other. Mara's a genius and super smart and just digs in, and she's really been instrumental in defining how fine lines kind of presents itself in the marketplace. When we first started in fine lines, we started with small makers doing cool things, like one thing here, 10 things here. And, that's how you start. You get these smaller vendors that are interested in working with a, upstart company that's just trying to figure out how to do business in the gift trade. So as we've grown, obviously we rep big brands that, have 50,000 SKUs, 10,000 SKUs, and we got away from that smaller maker. And we wanted to get back there. So a couple of years ago, we started bringing on board some smaller makers. We had some nice success with them, but it costs too much to do business with us. Commissions, they need an infrastructure to support their business with customer service. They need to release product on our timeline. There's so many things, showroom rents and fees and all kinds of stuff. And we realized that it was just a bit too much. And so Mara came to me and she was like, hey, why don't we do something that's just this micro business that's just direct to the retailer, B2B, no reps, and kind of work with smaller makers and have them have no cost except paying us a commission on the sale. So I was like, okay, Mara wanted to do this. I certainly supported her in it, and she learned how to do a website, and she made it all happen. And she figured out all these different things that she could do to save money and to make it easy for the vendor. So we assumed a lot of the work, and we just found some really cool vendors. And we said, hey, we want to work with you. We have an opportunity. Do you want to play with us? And they were like, yeah. And so Egg was born, Egg, an incubator, an opportunity for growth, being cared for and overseen in a way that allows for it to flourish. So we just started that, I think, what was that? That was May of pandemic year one. What is that, 2020?
Yeah.
I think, I can't remember now. I have no sense of time.
Yeah.
And we've just kind of grown and worked it. And, it's really Mara's baby. And, I present ideas to Mara. She's like, no, I don't like that idea. Let's do it this way. I'm like, okay.
I love Egg. I mean, I think because me as a buyer, and this comes from Michael Campbell years ago at Fred Siegel, is like finding that elusive pet rock that nobody else has. It's not spread across. And I love all the big brands. I mean, I sell a lot of them myself, but there's always something great about being able to find that true little nugget. And it's not like everybody has it. And whether you run it for a year, or you run it for 10 years, but it's like that true like pet rock. And I feel like Egg is like the pet rock maker.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what you're saying. Michelle, I've talked to so many buyers so many times where I'm like, what's your favorite thing that you bought at market? And it's always that little thing that was in the corner of that booth, like they found like it's not Penguin Random House or Jellycat or Patty Wax, or which are all amazing brands with great product. It's that it's seeking out those cool things, and Egg definitely has a bunch of product that speaks to that, that specialness, and that maybe one of a kindness, and I think that that's very inspiring for retailers. The other thing, Michelle, about Egg that's very cool is we're working with these vendors and we're teaching them the industry, right? Mm-hmm. They've never done it before. They don't know what a SKU number is. They don't know what a minimum or a multiple or a UPC code are. Like, we're teaching them these, kind of basic constructs that help them to then create a stronger business for themselves. Yeah. And then they can decide, yeah, I want to play in this, sandbox. Like, I like this, or they're like, oh, this is too much for me. Like, I don't think I want to do this. I just want to create. We help them along the way, help them figure out their path. And that's, I have to say, it's the most beneficial part of Egg is those relationships, and Mara working really diligently to help support those folks. So,
oh, she's so good. I mean, and she's so passionate, and she really helps, she really does help educate. I mean, the whole process for a new vendor, I know a lot of people are makers and they create things, and it's like, I don't think they're prepared for, yes, wholesale is the next way to go for them. Like, getting past the Etsy and the, little small, thinking small, but the broad idea of selling wholesale when you're talking about, how many reps do you have? Like, taking it out on the road, across the country. I don't think people realize as small makers what that entails. Return. Yeah. Damages, like everything that goes into customer service, all of that. It's like, I think that Egg's a great way to, if you are a small maker and you're able to get on board with Egg, it's a great opportunity to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. And I think Egg will evolve. We've got some ideas for Egg in 23 that will be a little different. We're thinking about, we are going to bring it to Vegas. So yes. Trying to figure out like what that looks like, and how do we do that in the right way? What makes sense for the makers themselves? So we're going to open up that market experience to them a little bit. We've done those pop-ups in LA. You've helped Mara merchandise them. So, she's like, Michelle, I need you, like, help me, she is. So we're going to do a bit more of that, and that'll be a lot of fun. So.
That's fantastic, because those lines there, I mean, I'm a buyer who wants to touch and feel everything. So, it's like, that's why fair is so challenging for me, because it's like, honestly, like I need to touch it and feel it. I'm tactile. It's like, and not to mention, like, if it's something personal care or like a scent, it's like, I don't know, it's hard. So it's great that it's coming, that people can actually touch and see and feel the products that are on Egg, because they're all amazing.
Yeah, they're really good.
So talk to me a little bit about November. You'll be closing the doors to Fine Lines, and I'm so bummed I missed that event you had. I was living in Vegas at that point, fortunately.
Yeah. So we missed having you at it. So the summer market in LA was our last major market, and we'll be open 4 days a week until the right before Thanksgiving, like the 22nd or 23rd of November, and then we'll begin to close up LA. So we had a little gratitude party that we just wanted to kind of celebrate the incredible, years we've had, where we grew from like a little baby into, a really cool company, and just wanted to thank the people along the way that have helped us. So we did this really fun party, had a DJ, it was catered, it was cool. And that was great. And now we're kind of in the space of like, okay, we're going to continue to do our business between now and November, and then we'll kind of consolidate and we'll put our energies into Las Vegas. So we're excited about that. We're excited about the future. We're excited. I do have a big announcement. I don't know if you know this news or not, but my friend and colleague, Stephen Young, of course, has opened up a showroom. He signed a lease. He's moving to Vegas. I think you're going to be living there more than you ever have as you help him. But he's, we're currently on the 10th floor of the C building in Las Vegas. Stephen is taking a very big space on the 11th floor of the C building in Vegas, which is really undeveloped, completely like a blank slate.
Yeah.
So when I knew that Stephen was getting closer and closer, because I'm dialed into the leasing team at IMC, which owns the Las Vegas Market Center, I said, listen, if Stephen signs, I want to move to C11. So I got the green light Wednesday of market in Vegas that Fine Lines is
Yay.
moving to C11 in the summer of 23. And we will be neighbors and next door neighbors to Stephen Young, and Fine Lines and Stephen Young will anchor C11, and it's going to be
Wow.
amazing.
That's
Yeah,
exciting.
isn't that cool?
I am so excited for this move. And it's like, you know, I recorded a solo the other day, and it was, you know, because it was crazy to hear the chatter about Stephen moving in. Some of it was fearful, some of it was excitement. But I had said on the podcast, like Fred Siegel told me a long time ago, like, don't worry about what everybody else is doing. To me, having Stephen bring 180 in Glitterville, like just those two lines alone, and how many people will come to see those, means more people who are going to come to the show and shop everybody's showrooms. It's not like we're just going to go there and then leave. I mean, it just means more eyes on the show, more people in your doors, and more people coming to the show. So to me, I think it's such a great addition. I mean, ask me that when I'm living there in January for a month, but but it's exciting nonetheless. I mean, it's, you know, like I've been doing Vegas forever, and it's a lot of it is because I want to find new things, and I want to go to a show where you spend 3 days really shopping. I did Atlanta for the first time this year, and it was the first time since I had Sweet XO, so 8 years or something like that. And something about going to a show that's that big and that full and that meaty and juicy is so great as a buyer. And Vegas is becoming that meaty, juicy. I mean, especially like Temps was amazing this year. I mean, it was such a great experience. So Vegas is just going to get better and better and better, I think.
No, I agree. And I think that that's where we're investing our energy and our time and our money. And it gives us an opportunity to reinvent our brand again. You know what I mean? Like, how do we bring product to the floor, and how do we do cool things, and how do we make a shopping experience for the buyer that is, you know, resourceful, right? We will certainly want good product that they can buy, but also a fun experience. How can we make it inspiring for them in terms of how to, you know, merchandise and to, you know, kind of bring products together? And that's what you do so well. And I know that Stephen is a genius at it. And where Stephen is meticulous and very specific and uber clean, we're a little messier and a little more casual. And that complements the shopping experience, right? Yeah. Like we're friendly competitors where we are sharing a customer who's relying on both of our agencies to source great product, and we know that. And that's what I think is so exciting about us we're not partnering, but what's exciting about us being on the same floor on C11. It will create a huge buzz, be super exciting, and my dog just jumped in here.
Okay. Not just switch subjects. So you found, last time you were in Mexico, you guys found her as a street dog that was not doing well, and you nursed her back to health, and now she's healthy, happy.
She's amazing. So we were here on vacation in October and early November of last year. And we went out to have lunch out in the Campo, which is like 20 minutes outside of San Miguel. And my husband, Antonio, spotted her. She weighed 17 pounds, was covered in mange. She was so sick, but so sweet. And we wound up taking her and bringing her back home with no intention of doing anything other than getting her in front of a vet. Not home, like home back in San Miguel. Got her in front of a vet, and, quickly realized that we weren't going anywhere, and this dog was going to come back with us, and we nursed her back to health, and stayed in Mexico for another 6 weeks until she could get, you know, healthier. The mange was under control. She got all of her shots, and then we drove her back to the US, and she's been a part of our family ever since. So now she's like a super healthy, incredible, vibrant, beautiful animal.
Rescue dogs are, I mean, I'm the first one to say, like, adopt, don't shop, like it, but rescue dogs know you save them. Like they 100%, you know, Mara helped me get Mouse. Emily from, she was with you. I forget what brand she's with now, but Emily came tomorrow and said, Mouse is this little dog. It's in my friend's house. And, she's not being treated. I want to take her away. And then also everyone's like, you have room, Michelle, like take her you can foster her. So I go to Dave and I'm like, okay, can we foster her, please? And, he's like, we have one dog already. I did not sign on for two. I'm like, it's just fostering, I promise. And well, we all know what happened. It was like literally like I'm trying to find her a home, and I'm like, "Can you come see Mouse?" And it was my old operations director. And he's all, "Wait, Michelle, you sound like you're really upset." I'm like, "No, I need to find her a home." And he's like, "You really sound upset." And I'm like, and I finally told Dave, I'm like, "I can't give her away. Like, I love her too much." And it's like she was so sick and so skinny, and like. And she clung to me, and, and then, the idea of giving her away, and Dave's like, I need a couple days to sit on this. Like, honestly, like, I don't know. And so on Valentine's, I opened up my Valentine card and he had her tag made, Mouse Craig. So
that's so great.
So Mouse is now, but Mara and Emily had everything to do with that. But rescue dogs are, I swear, the best. And I love her story with you because I got to see her go through like, from being really, really sick. And then now this happy, healthy girl. On a total off note, like when you take her, because I know we take the girls back and forth to Baja, to our little house down south. You guys drove her back. You did not fly her back.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird time of year. And, we would have had to put her in the carriage hold in the plane. So that was like not happening at all. So we wound up driving. We had a car service drive us from San Miguel to Laredo, Texas. And then we rented a car from Laredo and we bought a house. No, we didn't buy a house. We went to the desert because my car was there. Our car was there. And then we drove to Oregon. So that was like over the holidays last.
Holy shit. Christmas. How long did that take you?
40 hours. 40 hours. Yeah.
You did all that in 40 hours?
Well, we stopped along the way.
But still, 40 hours. That's crazy.
It was driving Miss Daisy all the way from San Miguel to Jacksonville. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh my God, hilarious. Yeah. I do want to ask you, I know Cole and I talked about your project, Gift of Life. You did the run this year, or did you walk? Because you had an accident and I wasn't sure if you ran it or you walked it.
So, so Gift for Life is the industry charity. It was started 20 years ago. Peter Schaubin, who's a friend of mine, owns an agency in Atlanta called Schaubin and Company. 20, I think it was 30 years ago, actually. It's 30 years. It's not 20, it's 30. It's our 30-year anniversary this year. So Peter started it when, as the AIDS pandemic was just like in full roar in the early 90s. He's like, we got to do something. We were losing so many people who, were impacted by AIDS or dying from AIDS in the late 80s, early 90s. So many designers and retailers and reps and people in the industry. So Peter started this company called Gift for Life, just raising money for, I think it was AmFAR was our first beneficiary that was doing research to kind of find a cure for HIV. And over the last 30 years, we've raised about $6.5–7 million for people living with HIV or doing research around trying to find a cure for AIDS. So I've been on that board for a number of years. I've done the New York AIDS Walk, which used to run concurrent with the National Stationery Show that happened like middle of May. And so I've been doing that walk and raising money and being on the Gift for Life team. So I did it again this year. I hit my head on a tennis. I fell on the tennis court and got a concussion in April. I was going to run the 10K myself because I wasn't traveling to New York to actually physically be there, but I kind of ran it in May. So I do it every year, raise a ton of money. Our team raised like 45K for the Gay Men's Health Crisis, which is one of the original organizations that kind of was created in response to helping people who were living with HIV and really dying of AIDS in the late 80s, early 90s. We've since pivoted a bit and we've opened up our work to include World Central Kitchen. Jose Andres is this incredible human. If he doesn't win the Nobel Peace Prize this year, nobody should. He's been feeding people and bringing kind of resources to people in so many situations. He's in the Ukraine, he's in Poland, he's in, every border country around the Ukraine. He was in Northern California last summer when fires were happening. He was in Kentucky a couple of weeks ago when we had all those massive floodings. He's first on scene to help support either people impacted by a natural disaster or the first responders who are there. And he's created this incredible construct that FEMA can never do because you have so much government interference in being able to do things by bringing nourishing food and people who are, cooks and who have food trucks and creating resources where he's paying these people a living wage to be able to then feed people who are in need or helping people in need. It's an incredible organization, and Gift for Life is so excited to be partnering with them. And we're raising tons of money without doing any major events. We're doing all these micro little pop-up events, no cost. We're not spending any money to have like sit-down dinners or big parties or whatever. We're just literally creating these micro events where the money goes directly to World Central Kitchen and it helps to fund the incredible work that they do. So very excited about that.
Do they know what they raised for this year? Because I know in Atlanta, there were different showrooms, and I believe Dallas as well, different showrooms. Like if you purchase there, they would put in X amount of money. Do they know how much was raised this year?
Well, let's see. I don't know if we have the hard number. I know that we raised somewhere around 25K in Dallas.
Wow.
At the Gifts and Decorative Accessory does the kind of this really cool event every year where they promote retailers and sales reps, and they did a big event there and they raised like 25K. Then the Dallas Market Center did an event with agencies and manufacturers giving money to World Central Kitchen. And then they did it in Atlanta. We did a micro event in Vegas, and we did a micro event in Seattle. So if I'm going to say this wrong, but I think we raised somewhere around $75,000 this summer, but wow. I think we've raised way over $100,000 year to date. We're doing stuff that's going to happen in New York next week during New York Now. High Points event. We're doing our first. We've been really trying to break into home, and we're really opening up that home industry. We've got some home people on our board that are really helping to, kind of be the catalyst for driving and developing, a relationship with the home industry. So things are really cool, really happening, really exciting. And, and the cause is so great and people are so excited about, giving to World Central Kitchen that it kind of makes it easy for us in the sense that, my philosophy is, Michelle, that people want to give, you just got to give them the construct to give, like give them the opportunity. And then they're going to be like, of course, I'm going to give 10, 15, 100, $1,000 because this is important. And this is where I want part of my giving to go. And people are amazing in that way. So
if retailers that are listening want to get involved, how can they get involved?
Well, we really want to inspire the retailer. That's the piece that we've had a difficult time engaging in Gift for Life, only because I'll speak to the retailers right now. Many of you have your own local organizations that you support, or, you give to your communities, or the baseball, little league, or to a homeless shelter in your town. But if you feel like there's something that you want to do and engage with World Central Kitchen, all you need to do is go to giftforlife.org. You'll find out more there. There'll be a link to give on that website. We are going to be working more and more diligently to engage the retailer in the work that we're doing. It just takes time, but we certainly would love as many retailers that want to participate. So
I think it's so important. I mean, I'm the first one to say is that I believe in giving time or giving money or good excess goods, whatever you can do. I believe as a human, that's part of what we're supposed to do to help others. So I love that you guys are involved in this so deeply. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. I know you're busy.
Sure.
What are some of your favorite gift trends that you are seeing coming down the pipeline?
Oh my God. Seriously, you're asking me this question?
Okay. I am.
All right. So, I said earlier that I was a clothing manufacturer and I was in fashion. I love fashion. I love clothing. I love accessories. I mean, I just got to say, we're seeing so much dynamic clothing and accessories happening in the industry. Brands that we rep, Barefoot Dreams, Merci, Ink and Alloy, Lotus, Jewelry, San Diego Hat. Like, these brands are so cool. We just brought a brand in from the UK, and the UK is on fire design-wise, called Powder. And Powder was a huge success for us in summer market season and will be a huge brand for us. So I'm seeing these trends out of the UK. Manufacturers are really like knocking on our door, coming out of the UK and coming out of Europe itself. So we really invite that. We love that. And we want to be inspired by what it is that they're creating on the other side of the pond. Food is like a big deal. Like, we are finding great gourmet, micro, small crafting companies. We've repped Poppy Popcorn out of Asheville, North Carolina for many years. We just brought a brand called French Broad, which is also out of Asheville. That's a craft chocolatier company. Lolly and Pop is a retailer out of Colorado that we're working with. Tons of candy, really cute, really sweet. And then we've been working with Tea Forte, which is a premier tea brand, and Good Citizen, which is a coffee roasting company out of Nashville, Tennessee, that has created all of these beautiful accessories that go along with it. So I feel the food lane in the gift channel is really growing. I know that you saw this one line in Atlanta. I was obsessed with it.
Oh my God.
I texted you. I was like, what is that? Show me that. You know?
It is. So I'm hoping to have her on the podcast. The salt is so good, and the packaging is so good. She's a restaurateur, and I mean, did you reach out to her?
I did. She hasn't contacted me yet. She doesn't know who I am. She's probably so knee deep in it. But you know, it's all about the packaging. It's all it has to be packaged right. So so I'm just going to say, any retailers out there who are not doing food or not doing food accessories, I'm just telling you, give it a shot, because the turn on it is really great, and it's consumable. The customers love it, and it's been great. And I know that you're totally in that lane, Michelle, seeing that happen.
Pantry is one of my favorite sections to do now. And my account, Masane, up north, has started, and Serendipity as well in Studio Cities has started with like little bits. And man, Masane's pantry section has blown up. It's crazy. She brought the salts in as well as did I brought them in for Ashland. But you know, because it's like such an easy gift, but so many people, I mean, it started obviously in the pandemic. So many people were obviously cooking at home, but because food is such an amazing, easy gift, hostess, whatnot. But I think it creates add-on sales for your tabletop departments. And if you're selling tabletop, honestly, salts, peppers, vinegars, like they're not going to go bad. They make perfect compliments for, you know, your tabletop, not only merchandising wise, but add-on sales. I mean, it's just such a no-brainer to me.
No, 100%. And then you've got all that candy stuff, which is so seasonal. So then you have like Valentine's Day and Easter and Mother's Day, and then you've got fall and Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you know, giving those little things for people in your office or friends, or just, again, you tie on like some cool piece of candy or something cute that then is coordinated with another gift. Like, it's just really simple, easy stuff. And I think that we're going to just see more of it happening, and we're going to invest more into that experience as well.
So excited. A Lolly and Pop. It's funny. I don't know if Mara told you that when I left Sweet XO, because Sweet XO was like half gift, half candy, Lolly and Pops interviewed me and had flown me up to San Francisco and was literally about to hire me. And I backed out at the last minute because I just started dating Dave. And I'm like, I don't want to leave. I don't. but it was so funny. It was like, I mean, such an amazing company, and they make and their brand is visually so beautiful. I mean, it's like, I was so excited to hear Lolly and Pop was coming to the showroom. Mara actually let me know before you guys announced it, but it's such a great.
Well, I got to say, really good decision to pick Dave over Lolly and Pop. I just want to say that, because he's an awesome dude. And
I agree.
I'm sure. Yeah, totally.
Okay. I always ask two last questions. One is, where do you find inspiration?
Oh my gosh. God,
you're very visual.
Question. Yeah. I mean, I think I find inspiration in a couple of places. Number one, in my relationships, like as I have this tagline, there's always more, you can always go deeper. Like there's always more to get and to experience. And so I feel like my relationship with my husband and my family and my friends and my colleagues, like really enrich my life and teach me things all the time that are empowering and awesome. So I would say that my inspiration comes there. I think when it comes to work and like what I do, I feel like, I watch my teams work and they're so committed to their job and to what they do and how they do it and the level of intention that they bring to their work and responsibility. That inspires me in huge ways because I feel so lucky to have all of these people work for me and work together and be friends and support each other. And then I think from the maker standpoint, it's just like the cool things that people are doing, the risks that they're taking, the way that they're taking something that we've seen 1,000 times and making it a little different, or kind of tweaking something or taking some kind of cool idea and then doing it in a way that I would have never have imagined. And I find that incredibly inspiring. And I just think it's the people inspire me. And I have so many makers from small to large who are so excited about the work that they do and what they bring to market and wanting to do things the right way and really be, make an impact in their own way. I think I'm rambling a little bit, but that's what inspires me.
That's why these two questions always, because I love hearing what people, the other is, where do you find balance?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that I've worked really hard to have a work-life balance. So the ability to be in Mexico for 2 months in the middle of the summer is huge. Being able to work and to play and to is key. I'm a big reader. I read every day. I love reading. I play tennis. I'm not very good at it, but I love it. I love to travel. And I love, I guess I'm kind of on a spiritual, like, awakening path a bit. And, I know that you're definitely in that space and lane. And it's kind of surprising me. My oldest brother passed away about 6 weeks ago, very quickly, very suddenly. It was a game changer for me in being present in his death. I was there when he died. And the love that was shared in that whole experience. And then kind of got me to look at, he was 64, I'm 59. My parents lived until they were 88 and 87. We were like, we got time, we're good. Like, yeah. We got another chapter of our life. And, but what I've realized is that might not be the case. And I really want to put the time and energy into doing the things I love, but also that are work related, but also doing the things I love that are not work related so that I can really enjoy myself, my life in a 360-degree space. So I think that's how I find balance.
I love that. Matt, thank you so much for your time. I adore you. I adore you even more now. I'm super excited. And, thank you honestly for so much support that you and Mara and Fine Line shows us here at the Retail Horror Podcast. Like, you guys believed in us before I even thought we were anything. And you've made so many amazing introductions to us that are going to help our growth. And I just thank you so much for your support.
Well, Michelle, I think you're amazing. I think the work that you're doing is incredible. I think the energy that you're bringing to your work and is really meaningful and is filling a lane for people. Retailers are lonely people. They do their thing in their own space and time, and being able to collaborate or to hear other people's stories and to be able to go, yes, that's me, or yeah, I totally get that, or oh, that's a great idea, I want to do that. Like, providing those resources for people is something that you're doing, and you're taking your tremendous career experience and sharing that with everybody. So how can I not support you? How can I not be an advocate for you? Because you're providing a service that people want and need. And I'm so proud to know you, and I'm so proud to be a part of this process, because I think that you will just continue to grow and develop and be of service to us. And that's really a beautiful thing. So thank you.
Thank you.